What is going on, traders? You are not going to want to miss this video. So before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So in my last video, I told you guys that I am expecting a further drop down, and I still stand by that. I did not buy this move to the upside for a second. I said it in the Discord that I am not confident in this upside that we are currently getting. And granted, it did throw me for a little loop here, but one thing that pretty much kept me 10 toes down is we look at the Discord. I even said it in our Discord. This drop is still in play until SPY breaks above this zone. So we zoom in and we're talking about this zone right here. So let's go back to the charts and get a closer look on what I was talking about. So 564 is a very key level for the SPY here. And as you guys can see, we have failed to get above this area multiple times. We're looking at the 4-hour time frame, by the way. We failed to get above this multiple times. And so we look closely, and I mentioned this in previous videos over and over multiple times, right? That the bears are getting stronger. The candles for the bears are getting much stronger, and the candles for the bulls are getting much smaller. What do I mean by that? I mean, we see it right here, right? We got a bigger bearish candle, smaller bullish candle, bigger bearish candle, and this is an engulfing bearish candle on top of that. But not only that, right? Not only that, we broke below this trend. So this yellow line right here is our trend. And if you've been paying attention to the channel, if you've been following our channel for quite some time, we zoom out, we go to the daily time frame, we zoom out for the SPY. This channel here that I've been talking about for, I don't know, the past 10 videos or so, we've been trading within this channel for about a year now. And so we bounced here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we consolidated here, we gapped down, we broke back into the channel. And right now, bulls and bears are pretty much fighting to stay within this area. And I would go as far as to say that bears are winning so far. They're slowly but surely winning. And so that just shows how important this channel overall is for the bears and the bulls. And we see this channel on multiple ETFs. We see it on the futures. I've shown you guys these channels multiple times. And so once again, we go back to the 4-hour time frame and we see that we are starting to break below this channel. We have a bearish engulfing candle here as well. And so how far can we go to the downside? So in my last video, I told you guys 550 was one of my targets. We didn't quite get there. We got to like 553, but I still think we're going to see 550 and then 547. Now, why are those targets significant? Well, right here, so we have a fair value gap that has yet to be mitigated. So I do imagine that the SPY is going to want to get rid of this and possibly even go lower than that, all the way down to about 537 and mitigate this next fair value gap. But we're going to focus on this area here. And right now, my first target will be 550, 547 for the SPY before potentially going back higher. Now, one thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that I mentioned this in one video, but I didn't go over it like much afterwards. Is that we could be looking at a potential head and shoulders pattern or inverse head and shoulders pattern. I should be exact here. And so we look here. We have a potential shoulder here. We have a head here, and then it's not going to look pretty, but bear with me. And so if we feel these fair value gaps, we could have another shoulder here and therefore trapping bears in this area. All right, so we could look at a move like this where we either mitigate this fair value gap or both and then possibly bounce back up. And so what would make me really comfortable with this play or being comfortable with this being an inverse head and shoulders pattern is if we roll back into this pattern after this move happens, or if this move happens, I should say. So if this move happens and we just so happen to roll back into this pattern, start packing your bags because I'm definitely going to start loading up calls. It will be clear as day that this will be an inverse head and shoulders pattern at this point. You have confirmation that you're breaking back into this channel, which I've shown you guys multiple times that this is a very important channel. And then your neckline for this head and shoulders pattern is not only 564 if we just keep failing to break above it, but right here will be your neckline. Like you have a huge neckline at around the 5.7, we'll say 572, 575 range. If you just so happen to break this, you are going to all-time highs, or I guess 575 will already be all-time highs, but you'll be going much higher. And I told you guys before that my all-time high targets for the SPY is 580 and then 600. So I think this will be a perfect opportunity to trap bears once we break below this channel and therefore forming an inverse head and shoulders pattern. I think that would be an excellent opportunity for institutions. And I'm not an institution or anything. I just try to, get an idea on how they possibly think. I think this would be a perfect opportunity to trap bears, and therefore we start to head higher and then start heading towards all-time highs. I could be wrong here. You want to wait for confirmation, obviously. Even if this shoulder just so happens to form out, like I said, I wouldn't be confident in it until we break back into this channel. Now, the important part about this is the part where I want you guys to pay attention, is that whales are selling. All right, so we look at the SPY. Well, we look at the overall options flow, and as you guys can see, there is a huge fluctuation of puts coming in. Nvidia puts. I mean, it's just the list goes on. There's nothing but pure red on this channel right here. I mean, look at all this. And then we scroll over to the premiums, and this is just a mixture of things. I haven't even got like specific. We look at the premiums here and look at all the premiums. These are the premiums, and just in case you're new here. And so all these premiums, I mean, they're all over millions, okay? And I want you guys to keep something in mind here, that all of this was not red in the morning. This was green. It was nothing but calls here, okay? Nothing but calls here. And as you guys can see, all these puts that's coming in, August 30th, August 30th, all August 30th. Okay. All August 30th. You got NVIDIA 118 puts for August 30th. You got NVIDIA 120 puts August 30th. You have NVIDIA 115 puts for August 30th. And by the way, if NVIDIA breaks 117, I said this in the Discord, it's going to 109 or 108 range. You got Tesla 210 puts. I mean, the list goes on, guys. Tesla 205 puts. And so let's get specific here. Let's look at the SPY. I mean, this looks insane. And so, again, all of this was calls. All of this was green this morning. This was green this morning. And towards close, all of this started to flood in. All of this, all these puts start to flood in. You got 560 puts August 30th, you got 559 puts, 562. Let's find something very significant. So you have 550 puts for September '06. You have 555 puts for September '06. You just have a lot of puts coming in for the SPY. And they're all within the millions in regards to premium, right? And so we could look at the ask and bid. Let's actually zoom over. Hopefully, you guys can see this. But the ask, a lot of these have higher asks than bids, right? And so it's pretty crazy at the timing of these, right? Because today was looking really good for the Bulls. And so I have to go with this and assume that tomorrow, maybe tomorrow next week, we're going to see a lot of downside. I mean, and I can keep going, right? So first we're going to get into the triple Qs, and then we're going to look at the order flow for that as well. So we look at the triple Qs. So the triple Qs actually does look better here. I have to say that much. It's still within the channel. We're still within safe territory. I will say that much. But the fact that we gave up 474 again on the triple Qs because we keep giving it up. All right. We have a bearish engulfing candle. And what have I told you guys? The bears are getting stronger. The bearish candles are getting much bigger here. You have I mean, it's across the board. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You have a huge bearish candle here. You have a doji here, smaller bullish candle, somewhat bigger bullish candle, bigger bearish engulfing candle here, smaller bullish candle. I mean, the bears are slowly getting stronger here. And not only that, what happened here is that we went up, we broke this trend, but we couldn't get past this fair value gap. And so that was another reason why I was not convinced on this move to the upside. It just wasn't convincing. And so if the triple Qs gives up 465, 464, we'll say to be safe, but 465 psych level, we could be heading all the way back down to 457. Okay, 457, and then our next fair value gap will be all the way at the 440s, but we won't talk about that until we have some sign or confirmation that we're heading there. But like I said with the SPY, and as far as this inverse head and shoulders pattern, so we zoom out on a daily time frame. As you guys can see, we're trading within this channel once again. We rejected or we bounced here, we bounced here, we rejected here, rejected here. You guys get the idea, right? And so we broke down, and then we did the same exact thing that we just saw on the SPY, and now we're back within this channel. And this only shows that bears and bulls are fighting to stay within this channel. But right now, it looks like the bears are slowly winning. I mean, even on the daily time frame, you see the bearish candles are getting much bigger than the bullish candles, and the bullish candles are getting much smaller. Okay, so that's showing that bears are getting much stronger, and they're trying to push the market, or at least the tech side of the market, down even further. We have a fair value gap all the way as low as about 455, 454 range on the triple Qs. And so we could be looking at the same scenario here. Like I said, as far as the inverse head and shoulders pattern in regards to the SPY, where maybe we, mitigate this fair value gap all the way down at the 450s. We form another shoulder. And if we can just roll back into this channel once again, I think that's a perfect opportunity. I think that's a perfect opportunity to get in on calls. I would definitely be looking at that. If that was the case, you have a potential shoulder here. We're not going to do it one by one, but you guys get the idea. Shoulder here, head here, and then this will form another shoulder. All right. And so you will have your neckline. So you start from the top of the left shoulder, and then you just pretty much go there, and boom. Like I said before, or I've said multiple times, the triple Qs, my all-time high target for the triple Qs is 510. I've been saying this for like months now. When it was at like 503, and we didn't quite get there, but that target is still on the table. I still think that we're going to see 510 on the triple Qs sometime this year. It's just a matter of when. All right, but that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs. Now let's look at the order flow for triple Qs, and we're gonna keep this thing going, guys, because it gets crazy. All right, so as you guys can see, nothing but blood. Nothing, just pure red. All right. And again, this was not like this morning. Everything was green. Everything, you saw nothing but calls. You saw nothing but outrageous calls. You saw like 480 calls. You saw it all. And we didn't even get to 480. And I'm like, man, maybe we might get to 480 because we were at like 475, 77.5, somewhere around that range on the triple Qs. And towards close and about an hour before close, you just see all of this start to flood in. Just nothing but puts, guys. All right. And as you guys can see, the date is for August 30th. You got 475 puts, August 30th. 474 puts. Let's actually look for something that's further out the money. You got 470 puts for August. I mean, not August. September 6th. 470 puts, 465 puts. The premium is low on this, so I wouldn't pay too much attention for this to this. But there's just, I mean, look at it. I mean, you got 465 puts. I mean, it's just crazy. Okay, it just looks absolutely insane right now. Just the amount of puts that's been coming in towards close, and we saw the effects of that heading into close. We saw this huge sell off start to happen. I wouldn't say huge, but a decent sell off happen towards close. And so this is very, very concerning. All right. And so we can look at quant data. So let's look at quant data for the SPY. So as you guys can see, hopefully you guys can see this. It's kind of like really zoomed out, but these spikes here, there's a lot of orders coming in, and I wouldn't take this serious. There's 425 puts for this. It's just some people being cheap, I guess. 420, 430 puts for August 30th, but then you have 480 puts for tomorrow. But the most significant one, in my opinion, is the 540 puts. I think that's, I guess, I wouldn't say reasonable, but has more potential than these. Okay, but we can go further out. All right, let's go further out and let's see what other days. So Memorial Day is Monday, so we'll look at Tuesday, right? As you guys can see, there's a lot of puts for 550. There's more puts coming in for 550 target on the SPY than calls. And then after that, you have another spike at around 546. You have another spike at around 535. We can keep going. Let's go further. Let's go a little bit further. So September 4th, you got 542 puts, huge spike in 542 puts, huge spike in 550 puts. So, I mean, it just keeps going. There's just a lot of puts coming in. And I know you guys can't like see the targets below, but I mean, they're right here. You see it right here, 542 puts, open interest 4,681. So, I- it's not looking too good. And remember, September and October are notoriously bearish. Now, I can't say for sure if we're going to be bearish all the way into rate cuts. It's really up in the air. It's either one way or the other, obviously. So I can't really say that much. But right now, things are looking a little sketchy. I won't say we're completely there on the bearish side. I won't lean completely bearish, but I have been taking bearish plays within our Discord. Like Tesla, for example. We'll go over Tesla in a bit. Tesla, we took a trade on Tesla. We did 200 puts for Tesla. Absolutely beautiful play. We did 471 puts for September 4th on triple Qs, I mean. And then let's see, Tesla. So we did 200 puts on Tesla. You guys can check the contract. We got in at around 1.75. As you guys can see, I set the stop loss. Well, I gave the Discord stop losses. And from there, my target is 40%. Take profit at 40% or a target of 192. Yes, I think Tesla is going to continue to head further down. Yes, I think Tesla is going to head towards the 190s. Regardless, I mean, you guys, I don't just talk on this channel. I actually believe the things that I say on this channel, and I actually trade the things that I say on this channel. A lot of YouTubers will tell you things on their channel, but they won't trade. They'll just be like, yeah, the market's going to go up, but I'm just going to sit on my hands and not trade anything. Like, you clearly are not convicted in what you say then. Because if you're convicted, you'll be trading exactly what you say, win or lose. That's just my thought process. You guys do what you want with that. That's my little rant right there. All right. So again, I took puts on Tesla. We got in at around, I want to say 212, somewhere around 212 range. And look where Tesla is now. All right. And we're going to get deeper into Tesla. So now we're getting into the stocks. Okay. So we're looking at Tesla, right? And I told you guys, I'm bearish on Tesla. I think this thing is going to continue to drop even further. So this trend right here, we bounced here, we bounced here, we hit this fair value gap on the daily time frame. But not only did we hit this fair value gap on the daily time frame, look what happened. All right, let's mark this out. We have a high here, lower high, lower high. We broke trend. This thing is tanking. I don't care what anyone says. This thing is tanking until it proves me otherwise. Okay. Right now, I think Tesla is going to head much lower. My next target will be right where this guy is, right where these bulls are. If these bulls step in, then Tesla can definitely go high. Well, go higher from this point. But I imagine this is where we're going to head, and then that's where these guys are going to potentially start stepping in and trying to push Tesla back up. But right now, Tesla is showing all signs that it wants to head further down. You don't believe me? Okay, let's get further into it. So we have bigger bearish candle, smaller bullish candle, bigger bearish candle. Well, kind of even here. Another bearish candle, another bearish candle, another bearish candle. Bears are nothing. There's nothing but bears within this area right here, and we're on a daily time frame, by the way. Nothing but bears are showing up right here. You can look at it in reverse. In this area, bulls were clearly in control. You had bigger bullish candles, doji, smaller bearish candle, bullish candle, smaller bearish candle, and so on and so forth. So you guys get the idea on what I mean when I'm talking about the size of the candles because they do play a significant role. Me, I don't need to look at volume or volume profiles like that because the candles will tell you who's in control. The amount and the size of the candles will tell you who's taking control of that specific stock. But let's get further into Tesla. Let's look at the options flow. Tesla. I mean, we can you can name any big tech stock, and I guarantee it's all going to look the same. Tesla was not looking like this at first. This morning, Tesla was not like this at first. These started to flood in. Nothing but red. You just saw like one call come in. That's it. 210 puts, August 30th. 205 puts, August 30th. And if you can't see the premium, trust me, they're high. Okay, they're high. 200 puts, August 30th. 1.1 million premium. 210 puts for next week. We're already in the money on that. 202.5 puts August 30th. 1 million point, well, 1.09 million. I don't know why I read it like that. 200 puts for next week, September 6th. I mean, the list goes on. There's actually like, let's see, 195 puts for September 6th, 1 million point five premium. I mean, we can keep going. I can show you guys tons of stocks that just all look like this. All right. So my target for Tesla is what was it? 190. Well, if we break 194, well, we break 200. We're heading to 196, 197, 195 will be your site level. We break 194, this thing is tanking. Simple as that. So that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. I'm still holding contracts on Tesla. On our Tesla play, 200 puts play, again, we entered at 212, around 212, and so far it's at 207 after hours. So if you want access to my plays, Discord link is in the description below. But let's keep going. Let's get further into it. So let's look at Nvidia. So Nvidia, what happened with Nvidia? It had great earnings, right? To be honest, guys, I'm not surprised. It just didn't blow anybody out the park. It didn't blow, I guess I'm assuming it didn't blow investors out of the park. It didn't do anything too crazy. And I told you guys, the amount of upside was very limited. Unless Nvidia broke past 140 for earnings, the upside was extremely limited because 140 was monthly resistance, and we are towards the end of the month. And I just could not see Nvidia. I mean, I called it. I called it in the last two, three videos that Nvidia, I just don't think Nvidia is going to do good for its earnings. Is it going to beat? Sure, but I don't think the reaction is going to be what everybody expected it because too many everybody was bullish. First off, like every retailer, all the social media was bullish. That's your warning sign right there. I gave you guys all the warning signs in the last video, so I won't get too deep into it. But Nvidia, if Nvidia gives up 117, guys, this thing is plummeting to 109, 108 range. We can look at the options floor for Nvidia as well. I mean, it did not look like this. It just didn't. It did not look like this at first. It was green, guys. You're talking about 130 calls, 140 calls. But now look at it. This 120 put for August 30th, 38.7 million premium. All right. 115 put for August 30th. I mean, look at all these dates are for either August 30th or September 6th. This 115 put, like I told you guys, if it gives up 117, it's going to 109, 108 range. September 6th, 115 puts 5.93 million premium. Okay. I mean, 110 puts September 6th, 1.82 million premium. I mean, this whole thing just lit up red. Okay. This whole order flow just lit up. All right. So if you don't have you an order flow, okay, I keep telling you guys, I tell you guys at least every other video, you need to get one of these. You need to get an options chain. I keep saying order flow. You need to get an options chain, guys. Okay, simple as that. If you don't have an options chain, you're trading with one eye closed. Okay, you want to trade with the institutions. You do not want to trade against them. You don't want to pick random contracts. I see people pick the most ridiculous contracts ever that has terrible theta, that has terrible value, that has terrible open interest in comparison to the value. It's just you want to trade with these guys, okay? You can say they manipulate the market. You can hit if you can't beat them, you join them. All right. And options chain is how you join institutions when it comes to trading. Get you an options chain. All right. Simple as that. All right. That's my little rant part two. All right. So Nvidia, a lot of puts coming in for Nvidia. So I have nothing for you guys in regards to that. If Nvidia breaks back above 125, then we could talk about upside. But even when we're talking about 125, just look at all this turbulence up here. We're looking at the daily time frame. We need amazing news. I don't think PCE data is going to be enough to break us to above this area here at 130 for Nvidia. We break above 130 on Nvidia, then we can start talking about all-time highs. But right now, this whole area is just flooded with bears. You have huge bearish candles all in this area. I mean, look here. You got them here, smaller bullish candles, and then you just somewhat gap down. I mean, it's all here. And then you have fair value gaps all the way down to 113, and then as about low as 107. So between 109, 107. I mean, it's all adding up. Okay. I'm giving you guys all the confirmation here that we could be looking at further downside. I don't know if PCE data is going to be enough to cause it to happen. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but a lot of puts are coming in for tomorrow. GDP, wait, not GDP, core PCE data at 8:30 Eastern. And then that's pretty much Chicago PMI 9:45, and then you have consumer sentiment at 10 o'clock Eastern. Inflation expectations at 10 o'clock Eastern. Right now, it looks like the whales are expecting something bad to happen. All right. They're either expecting this news to be bad or I don't know what else. This amount of puts coming in, I've seen it happen plenty of times. Now, sometimes, majority of the time, you'll have some puts mixed in, you'll have some calls mixed in. It's just all a mixture of things. But this doesn't happen all the time, guys. I'm telling you this now. This does not happen all the time, and it doesn't necessarily have to play out tomorrow. I've seen plenty of times where you'll get like smaller moves to the downside or smaller moves to the upside, depending on what the whales are trading, and then you don't see these type of moves play out until maybe a few days later. But regardless, nothing about this looks good. All right. We can keep going. All right. So we're going to look at maybe one more stock and then I'm going to get you guys up out of here. So Microsoft. So Microsoft, we jumped into a trade on Microsoft. All right. And I think I said this was risky. Yeah, I let the traders know, the Discord know that this was a risky play. But regardless, I mean, look at what Microsoft just did. So this trend here, it bounced here. It bounced pretty hard here, right? It consolidated here, broke through, broke back through. Bulls tried to break through. They mitigated this fair value gap up here, or at least they attempted to. And then bears stepped back in, broke us back below this trend, and then look what happened. All we're doing after hours is retesting this trend. And as you guys can see, there's a lot of turbulence in this area that we will need to break through. But let's not even focus on that. Look at the order flow for Microsoft. I mean, I'm not making this up, guys. Get you an options chain, okay? Get you an options chain. You will win a lot more than lose if you know what you're doing. Some people read these things wrong. But regardless, or a lot of people read these things wrong. 415 puts, August 30th. 420 puts. I mean, 410 put. Well, no, that's a very low premium. 450 puts September 20th. You got 415 puts. I mean, the list goes on. This whole thing is just lit up completely red. All right. And I imagine more is going to come in tomorrow if this is the case. Okay. But regardless, nothing about Microsoft looks good. Okay. I mean, it just doesn't look good. The market just doesn't look good as far as the tech side. Okay. So everybody's like, oh, this is a short squeeze and everything. I mean, maybe. Okay. But again, I rather trade with the whales than trade against them. I rather bet with the whales than bet against them. All right. Why? Because I don't have the capital to be fighting them. You probably don't have the capital to be fighting them. So you better trade with them, okay? Because they know a lot more than we know. No matter how smart you think you are, yeah, they know more than you. Trust me, okay? So they will prove you wrong every single time. They will beat you at your own game every single time, all right? So that's my thoughts as far as Microsoft. Okay, I think Microsoft is going to head towards 395, 390 from this point on. We'll see what happens. But right now, things just aren't looking good. Let's talk about Bitcoin. I mean, there's really not much to talk about on Bitcoin. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You have so we're looking at the 4 hour time frame. I would say this is a head and shoulders pattern. You can say it's not, but as long as Bitcoin stays above 58K, I would say it's somewhat bullish. But once it gets below 58K, yeah, this thing can tank very hard. All right, so it's really, you guys see it here. Bulls are really trying to hold this thing up above 58K. You guys see all the wicks here coming off this trend here. So we just so happen to break 58K. Yeah, we're going to 55K easy. At that point, I think we're just going to head towards the low 40Ks at that point if this does happen. So Bitcoin is holding up, but if this just so happened to play out, yeah, start packing your bags. You're going back to Earth, buddy. All right, so that's really all I have for this video, guys. I'm really not trying to fearmonger people. I'm trying to find opportunities to be bullish, but the market just isn't showing me. All these traps that's happening, these bull traps, these bear traps, or I would say these bear traps are not convincing me that we're going to see all-time highs just yet. I'm just not convinced. All right. And I've said this, and this is not me being stubborn. I showed you guys on the SPY. I said it in the Discord. If SPY does not break above this zone, we're going further down. All right. I'm not buying this move. I said in the Discord, I'm not buying this upside that we saw this morning. And boom, I stay convicted in my strategy. I trust in my strategy. And look what happened. Like an hour before close, all these puts start to flood in. We start to see everything start to sell off. And that's why it's important to trust your strategy. Okay. If you have a solid strategy that's proven to, get you wins, at least I would say at least above 70% of the time. But that's all I have for this video, guys. Hopefully, you guys got something out of it. Comment your thoughts below. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe PCE data will save the day tomorrow. Who knows? But for me personally, it's not looking good. Discord link is in the description below if you want access to trades, my trades, my signals. If you want access to our AI bot, it alerts signals as well if I'm like not doing anything or whatever the case may be. You got all types of alerts. So I mean, here's a little sneak peek. You got the Discord bot alerts. You got insiders, what insiders are buying as far as stocks go, as far as what they're selling, what they're buying in regards to stocks. So a lot of value. I try to add value to the Discord at least once a month to see what else I can add to it. But I definitely don't want it to be like too cluttered. I had to delete a channel today, so um, join Discord if you are interested. If not, that's fine. I will continue to try to provide value on the YouTube channel. But that's all I have. If you want text message alerts sent directly to your phone, then website is in the link in the description below. But until the next video, traders, have a good one.